Greetings, students. I hope you're all doing well. This is Satyaki Chakraborty from Indraprastha Law College, Greater Noida. And today's topic of the day for the subject Jurisprudence 1 is Sources of Law and Scope of Law for BLLB first sem and BLLB fifth sem. In the last class, we have been discussing about the sources of law. We discussed about several sources of law and also sources of law from the perspective of various philosophers and jurists and various legal philosophers like Austin and Salmon. So today, in this class, is the continuation of the last class. So, one of the another important sources of law is custom. And custom is a source of law which is the most ancient of all sources of law and held the most important places in the past. Custom is a habitual course of conduct observed uniformly and voluntarily by the people concerned. No custom shall have the force of law if its manner violates the fundamental rights. So, custom is a practice which is professed and practiced by a particular people in a particular place for a standard period of time. And when a legal obligation gets attached to it, it turns out to be a custom. Now let us see the two kinds of custom. One is conventional and another is a legal custom. Conventional custom is legally binding not because of any legal authority independently possessed by it, but because it has been expressed or impliedly incorporated in a contract between parties concerned. And legal custom are those which are operative and are binding of law independent of any agreement between the two parties. So the basic difference between the conventional and legal custom is the point of agreement or a legal obligation being attached. When a legal obligation, that is an agreement getting attached to between two parties, it turns out to be a legal custom. But in a conventional custom, it is just a practice which is independently practiced because it has been expressed or impliedly incorporated in contract between two parties. So legal customs are of two kinds. One is local custom, another is general custom. Local custom is that which prevails in some defined locality, whereas a general custom is operative throughout the realm. When the word custom is used, it refers to local custom. General custom prevails throughout the realm and constitutes on common law of the country. A general custom is usually practiced by all the people living in the country and is prevalent throughout the land. So, general custom is practiced universally. It is practiced by all the people throughout the land by everybody because it is common in nature. But local custom is only practiced by a particular people at a particular part of the country itself. So this is the basic difference. Which is universally practiced turns out to be a general custom, and which is only practiced in fewer places in the country itself turns out to be a local custom. According to Keaton, a general custom must satisfy certain conditions if it is to be a source of law. It must not only be reasonable but also be followed and must be binding in itself. It must not be in conflict with the statute law of the country. Now, let us see precedents as source of law. In simple words, judicial precedent refers to previously decided judgments of the superior courts, such as high courts and the Supreme Court, which judges are bound to follow. This binding character of the previously decided cases are important considering the hierarchy of the courts established by a legal system of the particular country, as in case of India. Judicial precedent is an important source of law, but it is neither a modern legislation nor it is as old as custom. It is an important feature in the English legal system as well as of the other common law countries which follows the English legal system. Let us now see the scope and utility of jurisprudence. Austin said that the science of jurisprudence is concerned with positive law and that law is strictly so called. It has nothing to do with goodness or badness of law. There are two aspects attached to it. Of course, you have rightly observed in the last class, we were talking about the positivity and the negativity of law, where we all discussed that there is no positivity or negativity involved. Rather, Austin talks about absolute law or positive law. There is nothing goodness or badness in law, but he only talks about positive law, which is absolute law. And there are two aspects attached to it. One is general jurisprudence, which includes subjects or end of law, which is for everybody and which is common to all system, and particular jurisprudence, which is a science of any actual system of law or any portion to it. Now again we see Holland's definition. Jurisprudence means the formal science of positive law. Holland gives a side of a positive law from the perspective of rationality or scientific theologies. It is an analytical science rather than a material science. He defined the term positive law. He said that positive law means the general rule of external human action enforced by sovereign political authority. Again, Salmon says that jurisprudence is the science of law. Please note that various definitions given by these legal philosophers. Alright. Now, Salmon says that jurisprudence is a science of law. By law, he meant the law of land or the civil law. He divided jurisprudence into two parts. Generic, this includes the entire body of legal doctrine. Number two, specific. This deals with the particular department or any portion of the doctrine. So what we tend to find in the definitions are let's not term as somebody. Let's say a legal philosopher like Austin says that jurisprudence can be differentiated underneath the domain of general jurisprudence and particular jurisprudence. Again, at the same point in time, Salmon tends to say it should be under generic and specific. So here lies the common factor, that is universality. On the difference of universality tends to create the synonym and antonym, that is general or specific, or general or particular, or generic or specific. Now, the conclusion that can be drawn from all this scope of studies are, we can safely say that jurisprudence is the study of fundamental legal principle. After reading all the above mentioned definition, we would find that Austin was the only one who tried to limit the scope of jurisprudence. He tried to segregate morals and theology from the study of jurisprudence. However, the study of jurisprudence cannot be circumscribed because it includes all human conduct in the state and the society itself. Approaches to the study of jurisprudence, there are two ways. One is empirical, facts to generalization, and another is priori. Start with generalization in light of what the facts are examined. Now, let us see what are the utility of jurisprudence. Number one, to develop logical reasoning. Two, it trains the critical faculties of the mind of the student so that he can dictate the fallacies and use accurate legal terminology and expression. Thirdly, it also helps the lawyer for practical work. A lawyer always has to tackle new problems every day, and thus only theoretical knowledge won't suffice until and unless this legal knowledge is implemented practically. Therefore, one has to handle this knowledge of jurisprudence, which not only trains the mind but also comes in handy in the legal domain when applied practically. Fourthly, jurisprudence also has an educational value. It helps in the logical analysis of legal principles and legal concepts and shapes up the logical techniques of the lawyer. Jurisprudence is the eye of law and the grammar of law because it throws light on the basic ideas and fundamental principles of law. Of course, when we study jurisprudence, we tend to understand the skeletal frame of law itself, because until and unless one understands the philosophies and the origins behind the law itself, one cannot decipher and understand the basics of law. Only jurisprudence is the subject that will open up the legal bent of mind and make us understand the future studies of law, and on what basis the subject has evolved. Therefore, by understanding the nature of law, its concepts and distinctions, a lawyer can find out the actual rule of law. Jurisprudence also contribute to the development of society by having repercussions in whole legal, political, and social school of thought. One of the tasks of subject is to construct and elucidate concepts serving to render the complexities of law which are manageable and more rational. It is belief of the subject that theory can only help to improve the practice. Jurisprudence should not be confined to the study of positive laws, but also must include normative study. That is, that study should deal with improvement of law in the context of prevailing socio-economic and political philosophies of time, place, and circumstances. So, by normative study, what we understand is jurisprudence should not be confined to a particular subject itself, but rather what we tend to see is jurisprudence is very much connected to various other subjects, that is socio-economic and political. All this combined itself from the legal perspective tends to form jurisprudence, because jurisprudence is not just the science of law. It is not just about gaining the knowledge about law and just implementing it in the practical grounds in the legal domain, but one need to also open the socio-economic and the political bent of mind too. And jurisprudence somehow helps us to enhance and to understand the principles and the philosophies and the knowledge, and to enhance the knowledge in the domains of political and socio-economic domains too. Again, study of jurisprudence is an opportunity of lawyer to bring theory and life into focus, where human thought in relation to social existence. So at the end of the day, how can we conclude is jurisprudence is very much related to social science. And when we talk about social science, of course, we talk about the social existence. Since man is a gregarious animal and man is a social being, we are a form of higher being, because of course we can think rationally and we have the power of reasoning. So jurisprudence in connection to various subjects or social science or political background helps us to develop and sharpen our skills, not only legally, but at the end of the day, it helps us to connect the theory and life into focus, where it is a building up the relation between the social existence. So this will be for it today class. Thank you.